This is the form of art in cinema that is not done almost anywhere. And for LAIKA to take it upon themselves to immortalize, what would otherwise be a dying form of art, just a lot of respect goes out to them from my end, and the way the studio is set up is so organized and it's so beautiful, and you feel like you're in this factory of dreamers, and everybody's meticulously working on that one small detail of a thing, of a bigger thing, and they're carrying that execution with so much perfection and so much dedication, and it really felt like I was in a different world when I stepped into LAIKA. Lionel is this cold and superficial individual that, purposely, intends on being a mile wide and an inch deep. Like, he just never wants to go any deeper. And when he does go deep, it's usually about his character and about his reputation. And he puts so much weight. But in reality, what that is masquerading is that he's being neglected by this group of people, and all he ever wants is their approval. So, and now here you have Mr. Link, who on the other side of the world, almost parallel to Lionel's life, he finds himself longing to be around beings, to be around people, to have conversations, to fall in love, to have friends, because he feels really, really lonely. Adelina, who's this character that has been kind of like stuck in limbo since her husband passed away, and she feels like she's constantly living under his shadow, even though he hasn't been in her life for years. And by fulfilling his dream of going to Shangri-La, she's able to discover her longing of just, being a discoverer herself, and going on her own adventures, and trusting herself. The story is about, longing to belong between three individuals that find themselves together on an unexpected journey, and then realize that the treasure that they were looking for was always there within their friendship. When Lionel meets the Loch Ness Monster in the first scene, I mean, it's an epic action scene. And here's this stop motion character, caught in an epic action scene, meeting, like an extraordinary monster. And I don't know, when I witness those moments in cinema, I feel very grateful to be a part of it. But I'm also taught and inspired to keep like, to keep working diligently to and not settle, when art can be better. Yeah, to always strive for that. Working with Chris was amazing. He's so passionate. He wrote this amazing story. These characters were real to him. And usually, when I was coming in, just to the studio and doing my voiceovers, I was usually acting with him and not Hugh or Zach. And honestly, it was fantastic because he's patient, and he's able to go back and revisit, the choices that we've made as a director, and me also as an actor, for our character, for Adelina, and that kind of bouncing back and forth with your boss, with your captain, feels amazing when you're both aligned. That you want the story to be great, you want your characters to steal the show, and Chris is definitely a champion for the story, for you, and that felt really great. I think the lessons that are learned, there's something really fantastic about your lead character being the most flawed of all the characters in the story. And that lesson that this character learns, not only is it most rewarding for that character, but it is most rewarding for you, who has been living for 2 hours vicariously through him. And I think that Lionel Frost is a human being, is a character that starts starts in such a place that it takes you, a long time to soften to him, and by the end of the journey, you're rooting for him and you're proud of him. Because you meet Mr. Link and you meet Adelina, and you sort of go, they're perfect. They're righteous, a true and natural sense of justice. They have good hearts, really clean hearts. And then there's Lionel. So you're able to kind of balance yourself back and forth between Link and Adelina and also Lionel. I think that the reason why Adelina is so bothered by Frost is because she does know his heart. She knows that he is a good person. And the fact that good heart is just being weighed down by all these bad habits and this narcissism really irritates her. Because I do believe that when they very first met, that they had natural and super impactful chemistry. And they can't deny that. And the same way she cannot deny her disappointment in the fact that, yes, she likes him, but he makes it really difficult for her to like him. And she feels really torn with feeling this way about him. Her relationship with Mr. Link also evolves because I think that her rigidity compels her to look at something, a creature like Mr. Link, and disregard him, thinking, oh, he's nothing like me, or, and then to realize that Mr. Link has so much depth and so much longing, and that it just completely, it melts her heart. And she's immediately sold, and she's on his side for everything. She takes it upon herself to go on this mission, and at first she thinks that it's just to, finally get to do something, realize something that her husband really wanted to do and never got to do. She goes from wanting, going on this adventure for that to staying on the adventure because she has to find a family for Mr. Link. So it's a very beautiful and compelling like arc for her. When you see a creature that is so big, you're expecting a deep voice that sometimes may haunt you or may make you feel very conflicted to like him. But the moment he opens his mouth and it's Zach, Galifianakis' voice, it's impossible to be tense, to be uncomfortable, or to be scared of Mr. Link.